Hello, welcome back to another underrated Silver Age book. Yes, underrated is not undervalued. This series, as I had talked about many times already in almost every video, it's not about value. I don't equate underrated with something is underpriced. The market is what it is. Okay, maybe I can go into a little tangent here before we go back to this book. When it comes down to the market, value and importance does not always correlate. Okay, for whatever reason, that can happen to many books. Okay, nobody can dispute why Action 1 is what it is as far as the importance to the hobby and the price. Same thing with many other books like Detective 27 and the price because of the Batman, all that stuff. Okay, that's given, and many books are like that. But at the same time, there are a lot of books that is not it's not very valuable in value in high prices, but it is significant. Okay, why it is not high value, who knows? Could be because of the supplies. Okay, when I come down to value, you had to everybody had to take into account supplies and demand, right? That's the law of economic. It's very simple. If a lot of people want it, doesn't matter if the supplies are plentiful, as long as the demand are higher than the supplies, price will rise and stay high. How many times do we need to talk about Hulk 181 or New Mutant 98 having thousands of slabs out there? Guess what? Prices are still high and go higher because the demand supplant the supplies. Okay, so when it comes down to this series, and I talk about something is underrated, as I have explained enough time, it has nothing to do with the value. So please, everyone that watch this video, stop telling me that something is not cheap and should be considered underrated. It has nothing to do with what is the price. Okay? For example, Daredevil 168. Anyone that are a fan of Daredevil will know that is one of the most significant book for Daredevil. Elektra, okay? She is perhaps in the top 2 or 3 most important character that was introduced in that series. Back in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or today, she is in the top 3 in my opinion. But her first appearance is fairly inexpensive. You can get a 9/6 copy for 200 or even less, something like that. Okay, it's not $1,000 book. Even a 9/8 copy, I don't believe is anywhere near 4 figures. It's cheap by comparison. I can point out many books that have no significant importance that are in the thousands, because for whatever reason the market want that book and willing to pay for it. It has nothing to do with any kind of significant event or characters of that book. So you need to separate out the value with how something is significant or not. At least that's how I look at things. Okay, so for this series, it's always been about books that I feel is underrated because a lot of people don't talk about it. That's it. That's the gist of, for whatever reason, people don't talk about it much. I think it's a cool book. At the end of the day, every book that I showcase in this series is about books that I think is super cool to own, super cool for me to have, and fun to read. But for whatever reason, the market doesn't give it a heck of a lot of attention. Okay, that's all. So for this video, Annual has always been a stepchild of the collectible for this hobby, right? You know, people can chase after a lot of books, but when it comes down to annual, there's not a heck of a lot of buzz on any of the annual, in any of them. Okay, for the most part. Okay, once again, I'm sure some people, the truth police is always pretty quick to point out that I'm wrong. But for me, one of my favorite is of course the first FF annual. Okay, it's a wonderful book. Okay, I already shot a video of the interior, which hopefully I will load one of these days. But the inside is fantastic. I love the work inside, between Jack and Dick Ayers. It's awesome. But it also, well, first of all, the story. Okay, it gives you a good origin of Submariner and his race. Okay, it's it's also introduced, you know, Lady Dorma, his future wife, his future queen, and Krang, you know, the villain. Not that, no, once again, it's not about, oh, you know, this book is gonna be a great investment because, you know, should Marvel ever go into you know, introducing this character in a movie, or this book is gonna blow up. No, I have no idea, and personally, I don't imagine. Can I see Namor in a Marvel movie? Yes. Do I see Namor's storyline as far as his origin like this, and then Lady Dorma? It sounds a lot like Aquaman. So I'm not sure if Marvel will ever do a movie that's focused on this, the storyline of this book. So please don't do that. Please don't think that I'm selling you that, you know, buy this book, you know, because it's just like Days of Future Past. They're gonna make a movie based on the storyline. I don't see it, because it would be like a copycat of Aquaman in some ways. Once again, you may disagree, but to me, what is fun about this one, beside the great storyline, the great origin of Submariner here, is Jack Kirby work with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. It's not a reprint. This book has 3 storylines. You have, of course, reprint of the FF at the end, but after the first story, the meat of this book, you know, the origin of Namor and his race, you get a decent short story with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, drawn by Jack Kirby and inked by Ditko. It's not something that we see often as far as Jack Kirby drawing Spider-Man, so it's super cool. Okay, you know, a lot of people don't associate Jack Kirby with Spider-Man, but he did draw the cover for Amazing Fantasy 15, and I think some people don't know that. Some people just assume that Ditko did everything, even the cover for Amazing Fantasy 15, and I have heard quite a few people mistaken that cover Amazing Fantasy 15 for for Steve Ditko work. It is not. It's Jack Kirby, the king himself. But so yeah, if you never seen this book, you would be pleasantly surprised of this storyline with Spider-Man. If you're a fan of Jack Kirby and you want to see how he illustrate Spider-Man in action with the Fantastic Four, this is it. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.